In 1958, American football was a brutal, straightforward game. It was a game of power, of trenches, of 3 yards and a cloud of dust. But for one team in Middletown, Ohio, a legendary high school powerhouse, that game was no longer working. They were in the middle of their first losing season in nearly 50 years, sitting on a record of 0 wins, 4 losses, and 1 tie. Their coach, Glenn Tiger Ellison, was desperate. His players weren't just losing games, they were losing their love for the sport. The joy was gone, replaced by what he called a graveyard seriousness. In his desperation, he found inspiration in the most unlikely place imaginable, a local park watching children play pickup football. What he saw there would lead him to create an offensive formation so bizarre, so unconventional that his own assistant coach, Stan Lewis, said, "It stinks." They called it the Lonesome Polecat. This is the story of how a desperate attempt to make football fun again accidentally created the blueprint for nearly every offense you see today. Before we break down exactly how this bizarre formation worked, if you love deep dives into the stories that shaped the game of football, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You won't want to miss the history we uncover next. By the way, did you know the term polecat is slang for a skunk? If not, now you do. The term lonesome, as in part of the Lonesome Polecat, was a play on Army's formation in 1958, the Lonesome End. I have a complete video on that you might like. To understand how radical the polecat was, you have to understand the man who created it. For years, Tiger Ellison was a disciple of conservative football. He had been an assistant at Middletown for 12 years before becoming head coach in 1945. His early teens were highly successful, running the same pulverizing T formation favored by his friend, the legendary Ohio State coach Woody Hayes. For years, this old school smash mouth football was enough to maintain Middletown's incredible winning tradition. But the 1958 season was different. The old ways weren't working. Watching his players, Ellison saw that the military style rigidity of 1950s football was crushing their spirit. So he took a radical step. He went back to basics. Observing kids in the park, he noted how they moved naturally, spreading out, throwing on the run, and creating plays out of pure instinct and joy. This led to a complete reversal of his coaching philosophy. He abandoned his old motto, "Hit 'em so hard and so often and with so much that they simply cannot stand up," and adopted a new one. Make football fun again. It was a decision that would unlock one of football's greatest innovations. So, what did this lonesome polecat actually look like? Well, it looked like nothing anyone had ever seen. Imagine the offensive line, and then now take almost all of them, the guards, the tackles, and just move them way over to the left side of the field. Split out wide with 2 receivers. On the other side of the field, 2 more receivers were spread wide right. That only left the center and the quarterback in the middle of the field lonesome. The goal was simple, even if the look was chaotic. It forced the defense to defend every blade of grass on the field, creating automatic numbers advantages and 2-on-1 mismatches on the overloaded side. Defenses in the 1950s built to stop power runs between the tackles were completely unprepared for the extreme spacing. To keep the fun element alive, Ellison created whimsical names for the passing zones. The underneath areas were called Heaven, Hell, and Boston. The deep zones were red, white, and blue. And a play call might sound like something from a surrealist poem. Spring from hell into the deep blue. The receivers didn't run set routes. They ran option routes based on how the defense lined up, a concept decades ahead of its time. The quarterback ran a no-huddle offense using simple Spanish numbers to call plays, forcing a relentless pace that left defenses breathless and confused. Ellison created the automatic pass. If a receiver found themselves uncovered, they would mess with their face mask to signal the quarterback. The quarterback would then signal the center to snap the ball without a cadence, and then fire the ball ball to the open wide receiver. It was easy money yardage. I did find an article that Ellison's original intent wasn't as drastic as is commonly believed, from the Newark Advocate of October 28, 1958. Tiger devised the formation to convert after touchdowns, but with touchdowns scarce, he put it in the regular repertoire and scored twice with it in the 24-14 win over Dayton Roosevelt. The center eligible for passes has caught 3. Here's the thing with Ellison's Polecat play. It worked. After installing the Lonesome Polecat, Middletown ripped off 5 straight wins to finish the season 5-4-1, saving their winning legacy. The stinky formation was an instant success. Tiger Ellison knew the Polecat was a gimmick, calling the idea of making it a base offense a departure into insanity. The revolution wasn't the formation, it was the principles behind it. He took the ideas born from the Polecat, the wide spacing, the option routes, and the quarterback reads, and refined them into a systematic offense he called the run and shoot. He literally wrote the book on it, titled Run and Shoot Football, Offense of the Future, published in 1970. In a testament to the idea of the offense, the foreword was written by none other than his philosophical opposite, Woody Hayes. Hayes wrote, "You're the forward passingest coach in the country, and they say I'm the most non-passingest coach that's ever lived." But he acknowledged that every coach, regardless of level, will profit from the study of the revolutionary ideas expressed in this book. With this new system, Ellison's teams at Middletown were dominant, posting a 38-7 record from 1959 to 1962 and achieving an unheard of 63% pass completion rate in some seasons. The insane idea from a high school field in Ohio didn't stay there. It started to spread, most famously through a coach named Mouse Davis. At Portland State in the 1970s, Davis took the run and shoot to his extreme, and the results were mind-boggling. His teams led the nation in scoring for 3 straight years. In 1980, in the ultimate display of the offense's potential, they beat Cal Poly Pomona 93-7. Then, as if to prove it, they beat Delaware State by a score of 105-0. During the season, they outscored their opponents 550-209. His quarterback, Neil Lomax, threw for 4,094 yards, putting him at 13,200 career yards to become the all-time passing leader at that time. From there, the run and shoot took over the USFL with quarterback Jim Kelly, won championships in the CFL, and found success in the NFL with teams like the Detroit Lions and Houston Oilers. But its most important legacy is in how its principles have been absorbed by virtually every offense in existence. The spread formations that dominate college football and the NFL, their DNA comes from the Polecat. The no-huddle, up-tempo offenses that gas defenses, that's a direct descendant of Ellison's system. Maybe most importantly, remember Ellison's automatic pass where the receivers would signal they were uncovered by adjusting their face masks, triggering a quick throw? That is the philosophical grandfather of the modern RPO, or run-pass option, that is the cornerstone of so many of today's best offenses. Tiger Ellison's Lonesome Polecat is another example that innovation can come from a moment of crisis. The Lonesome Polecat began as a desperate gambit to bring joy back to a team of demoralized kids. He proved that making a sport enjoyable doesn't have to come at the expense of strategic brilliance. So the next time you're watching a game and you see a team spread the field, a quarterback in the shotgun reading a defender, remember Tiger Ellison and especially that play call, "Spring from hell into the deep blue." If you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our series on the history of offense. You can find videos on the beginning of offensive formations, and it includes the short punt formation, the single wing, the veer, the split T, the T formation, the wishbone, amongst others. A lot of offensive videos there, and I'll be adding more. This is John Johnston with Hardcore College Football History. Thank you for watching.